So World Cup year, we all neglect the local the Ghana Premier League, and focus on the Black Stars. But
basically, that's what happened.
We underperformed even at the World Cup. So why don't we come home?
And look, 2014 it was the same. 2010 it was the same. 2018 we didn't qualify for the World Cup, so the local league didn't suffer as much. We're back at the World Cup, and throughout the entire period when we've been at the World Cup, the entire concentration has been on the local league. Let's look at the factors that have contributed to that this year. When the Black Stars qualified for the World Cup, we launched an entire campaign in trying to raise funds to take the Black Stars to the World Cup. You remember the delegation that went to the Jubilee House to ask for quite a huge amount of money from the presidency, and the president actually held breakfast meetings with corporate Ghana in order to encourage them to donate towards supporting the Black Stars to the World Cup. We have never had such an engagement from the highest office in this country about supporting the local league. So when it comes to the Black Stars, it's almost as if everybody is basically rallying together. And they got a lot of money going to the World Cup. Got some huge money from MTN, got some huge money from so many other sponsors. So when you look at the energy that they put into raising sponsorship to support the Black Stars at the World Cup, it's absolutely unheard of. And each player, and the minister just announced the World Cup campaign alone, they spent over $5 million. $5 million in the World Cup campaign alone. Each player walked away with an appearance fee of $100,000. And now there are rumors that even management members took such an amount of money.
Coefficient of 7.
That's the point. Now, let me tell you this. Now, the GFA, just before the World Cup, announced a sponsorship deal for the Ghana Premier League with Bet Power. That sponsorship deal was for 3 years, $6 million, so $2 million a year. Guess what? Each of the 18 clubs, out of that money, was entitled to just over $25,000 per season.
Where does the rest go?
The FA says they are allocating $1 million each season from the money. So half of the money, 50%, into, guess what? Marketing activities for the league.
How?
Now, those marketing exactly. So the question everyone is asking is, where are the marketing activities? And how exactly are they spending the money? Let's talk about visibility. When you walk around, do you see any elements of the Ghana Premier League on billboards? Do you see adverts on radio or TV?
Way.
So what exactly do they put the marketing money into? So that's a good question. So you look at what has happened this year, all of our energy has gone into the Black Stars, and the local league has suffered as a result of it. Exactly. And the local league has suffered as a result of it. That's one part of the problem. And that is a more immediate cause. When you look at the long-standing cause, let's talk about X Factor. There have been times when you're a very strong House of Folk fan, Mama V, and you are a Kotoko fan. Yeah. Today, if somebody put $1 million down right now and ask you, Winston, that mention, I'm not even going far, 3 Asante Kotoko players now, currently, actively playing for Kotoko, you, Winston, with $1 million on the table, would you win that money?
Continue.
Just 3. Mama V probably follows House of Folk more closely. So let me extend it to 5 players. I said, if Mama V, if I asked you to mention 5 House of Folk players right now for $1 million,
I can't do 5.
You can do 5. But Winston, you agree there was a time when all you knew were players from Kotoko and House of Folk.
True.
So something is wrong in terms of recruitment. Take House of Folk, take Kotoko for example. They are defending league champions. Last season they won the league. And you remember the players that helped them win the league. And the names will sound familiar when I say Fabio Gama.
He's a fantastic player. Mfege.
When I say Mudasiru.
He's now moved to
Saudi Arabia. So
what about
when
that guy,
you hear Abalora.
Yes.
When you hear, so that's the point. Abdul Ganiu. So all these players were instrumental in helping Kotoko win the league last season. When you hear, last season, one of the most popular players in the Ghana Premier League was, and you would remember, and the memory would come right back when I mentioned the name, Mbella Etuga from Cameroon. He was scoring goals for fun. This season, at the start of the, in fact, on top of that, the Kotoko head coach, Prosper Ogum, and his backroom staff. So all of them contributed to the attraction from last season. This year, the coach is gone. Yeah, PhD holder. Yeah. The coach is gone. His entire back.
Zebu,
Said Zebu.
Yes, Zebu. Yes.
Yes, his entire backroom staff is
fantastic
gone.
coach. I don't know how he's been communicating with the players.
He uses an interpreter. So all of the key players have left. The coach, the backroom staff, everybody is gone. And they've recruited players from lower divisions, and they have to do it all over again. So consistency is missing. And you see, fans develop affection for players. They like familiarity. Yeah. So when you take that factor away, it's hard for them to get to the stadium.
But is it also because, all of you see in the past, when Hearts and Kotoko are playing, or even when Kotoko are playing against another team, even within the media, you make it so nice. And
that's the point.
You make it so nice. I remember that, I remember the era of Prince Edupoku.
Yes.
Prince Edupoku,
yes.
At the time.
But you see...
And we would wait patiently because they'll be mentioning... Yes, you're right. They'll be mentioning the names. And even those that we couldn't get to watch, you're on shortwave.
Yeah.
Listening to commentary.
Yeah.
SW.
Yeah.
Listening to commentary.
Yeah.
You would listen to the commentary. And when the team wins, the next morning, you are looking for... graphics, sports, and Kotoko Express, and all of that to buy.
So it comes then the media aspect that you mentioned. All of that comes down to access. So when you were listening to the Shortwave and Prince Opu, did you have a choice? What were your alternatives then?
Let's get onto the phone lines. I'll get back to you because we've been joined by Aziz Haruna Futa, who's a former chairman, former Chapter O chairman and management member of Accra Hearts of Oak. They call it the musical Chapter O. He's joined us now. Aziz, good morning and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, my brother.
So, we're looking at the Ghana Premier League. Now, today, supporters don't go to support the clubs at the stadium. Hearts of Oak had 188 fans going to Cape Coast. That is not Hearts of Oak standard.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Thank you very much, and good morning to your listeners. First of all, if I'm taking my mind back from 99, 2000, and that time when I was about 25 years leading Chapter O, the kind of enthusiasm that is in the game, it is not, you can't compare it to it now. One, that time, House of Oak, let me just bring you closer. Just like before May 9th, Hearts and Kotoko, the FA can schedule to play under the floor light on Wednesday. It means that football fans that are corporate, they will have their time and come and watch their various clubs playing. But this time, it wasn't like that. Just because of what happened in May 9th in 20-something years ago, that there was a commission that said that, okay, Hearts and Kotoko should not play under the floor light anymore. This is more than 20 years. Are we the same? Can you compare it to now? No. Because by then, there was not so much DSTV in the system. Internet are difficult to find. So you can watch a lot of activities through your mobile phones. But now, we have a lot of challenges. So it's up to the FA and the club to sit, and the clubs to sit and decide and look at what is happening now, the competitors that we are facing, English Premiership, La Liga, French League, and the other leagues that is happening around the corner. So there's a lot of challenge that we need the FA and the teams to sit and think outside the box.
But Aziz, talking about telecasting matches and all of that. But even today, the support is key, isn't it? We're just coming out of COVID-19 when the stadiums were, we suspended football. And even for us as a country, we're coming back from number 12 where football was suspended. Yeah. Is that the more reason you need, for instance, Chapter O, musical Chapter O, and all the supporters to get to the stadium to cheer the players on?
Yeah, it's one of the factors. But I agree that, okay, for me now, as a former Chapter O member, I grew to become the first vice chairman of Accra House of Folk Supporters, and then a former management member of Accra House of Folk. It tells you how I followed the club before. Now, you have a club that some decisions will be taken. That you have a player that is doing well in the club, that is he's trying to raise like a Free Barnier and Co. that are doing well. The management will wait until 6 months, his contracts until 6 months, and they are trying to negotiate with him. Players cannot even last more than 2 seasons in our various clubs in Ghana. It's a factor. For example, yesterday in the afternoon, I received a call from Jacob Norty. I was in a meeting, but when I saw his name, I was very excited. And I told my colleagues that, please excuse me, my former captain is calling me. I was so excited. But where is Jacob Norty now? Is he working in House of Oak? This is a legend. Today, Xavi is a coach of Barcelona because it's a legend there. Do you know when Stephen Appiah is playing House of Oak? By then, I was in school. I have to run from school and come and watch House of Oak because of Stephen Appiah. I have to run out of school to come and watch Stephen Appiah. I've been following Stephen Appiah from a House of Folk till he ends his career.
Oh, I see.
Now, which player can you follow after your program, after hosting your Joy Sports, after everything that House of Folk will play on this weekend, I have to go and watch this player. Which player are you going to watch?
But is that not also because we have not created new stars? I mean, sometimes we can create these stars. Look, Aziz Futa, the players that you're talking about, I mean, I remember, even the House of the 64 Battalion, I remember their names.
Yes.
I didn't go to watch any of them play, but I remember them because we created them.
Yeah, but you see, Aziz makes a very important point about the whole familiarity thing. And it also comes down to marketing.
Yes.
So you knew those players because you heard their names on radio. And even when you didn't watch them, the names were very familiar. True. The times have changed. So it's no longer just enough to do commentary and mention their names on radio or on TV. Because the way people consume content now has shifted from the traditional to the digital. So let's look at what creative marketing ways the clubs are employing in order to put the faces of the players in the faces of people.
I was shocked when I saw Samuel Inkum in the camp of Hearts of Oak.
She didn't even know he had signed for the club.
Is he playing?
Yes. So then he talks about you look at Efriye Barnier. He had become very popular. And Efriye Barnier could have become a poster boy for House of Oak. And he probably was in the last 2 years. But the club waited and waited until he was out of contract before they tried to renegotiate for a contract extension. So in other words, they showed no commitment whatsoever in trying to keep him. So if a star boy like that is let go, the only local player to go to the World Cup, look at the pedigree he comes with and how much fan base he could attract to the stadium. But Hearts of Oak were not interested in reaching an agreement with him to keep him at the club. So he ended up leaving, and even before he left, they had to engage in some gimmicks of extending his contract just so that he could play at the Chan tournament because the player was out of contract before he went to Zurich. So a club as big as House of Oak, that cannot happen. That's the point Aziz is talking about. And we do that to the big players. So they created a star. The boy was a star. But how did they treat him at the end?
Look, we need to be wrapping this up. But I see the English press, for instance, do that so well.
Yeah.
They have created stars, including English players, who really are substandard players.
Yes.
That's the reality. But you can never talk about football without mentioning their names. They go into teams and they're able to play. Also because the English press deliberately created these stars. Aziz, I think it's about time we also started creating stars from our local league, isn't it?
No, we don't. We used to do that. I remember when Joy FM was set up. I'm using Joy FM as an example. When the late Komnadumo used to host the morning show. Every weekend, not one, not twice, they will call me on the morning show. It's part of it that I've become popular. They will call me on the morning show after house game, but with Accra by then. They will call me on the morning show. We talk about House of Folk. We talk about fans. I sing on the morning show the House of Folk songs. So it become excited. You look at this now. We have so many radio stations in Ghana. We have so many TV stations in Ghana. We only do the two most important programs: politics in the morning, sports in the mid-morning to afternoon. But if you listen to the context of the sports, it is negative, 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 negative. Joy FM, if Joy Sports want to pick one player from Heart or Kotoko or even Dreams FC to say that I'm going to market this player, imagine how famous that this player will become. But we don't do that.
Okay.
We don't do that.
Aziz, if they pick the player today and start to market him, and tomorrow House of Folk decide that they're selling him, what are you going to do?
It is another factor.
So, Aziz, we have to end it here. We need to activate the phone line so that listeners can also get into the conversation. Thank you very much, Aziz Aranafuta, for joining us. He's managing member of Accra House of Folk, yes, former Chapter O chairman. So the phone lines have been activated on 0302216541 and then 0551111997. Tell us, what do you think can be done to make our local league attractive? How about we consider
to make House of Folk
season tickets also?
Yeah, season ticket. I mean, it should be a factor.
We should think about season
tickets.
It should be a factor. So I can buy a season ticket. Even if I don't show up, the clubs will get some small money.
You see, but Winston, one of the realities that we can't run away from is the fact that the economic hardship is contributing to the problem. Because it is more expensive to go to the stadium to watch House of Folk or Kotoko than it is to access a Premier League match. At the DSTV Center, it's 3 cities. But if you live at Nima and you want to go to the Accra Sports Stadium to watch the game, and the game is even 10 Ghana cities, the transportation added to it. That's so you're probably looking at spending around 35 Ghana cities to watch one Ghana Premier League match.
So you cannot be in this, but you buy you buy a seat in the stadium.
But there are ways.
Virtual.
There are ways. So virtual would make.
But that still won't fill the stadium.
Hold on. Let me get on to give them some money. Let me get to onto the phone lines. Where Salifu in Koforidia has joined us. Good morning, Salifu.
Good morning, Wilson.
How are you doing, Salifu?
Oh, by the grace, I'm fine. I just want to make a protest. You people should handle my daughter, Mamazi, very well. Look, I'm a Kotoko supporter, and she's supporting her. That's the beauty of the game. And that's what happened in the 80s and the 90s. Look, listen, what you are discussing is about the whole organization and marketing of the various clubs. In those days, like you rightly interviewed Aziz, the chapters and the circles were very effective. And that time, some of us, the circles, could recruit players for the clubs. And when they are playing in our various communities, Yayakasum, Imarasaki, and so Dumpty and Co. around Letabi Akwashi, Zongola. Sundays, full pack. People will come and watch and we do recommend to the clubs. The various chapters and circles were very effective. What is your circle? You say you are a Kotoko supporter. Which circle do you belong to?
I don't belong to any of the circles.
So these are the things. Look, some time ago, I was in Boku. Hassan Kotoko were playing. We used to hire STC buses. Has Kotoko supporters. We come and watch. Is it happening now? So the various clubs should organize very well and reactivate the circles and the chapters and see what will happen.
Okay. Thank you very much, Salif from Kofina. Let's get to Teshi. Kobe, good morning.
Yeah, hello, good morning, Wesley.
Yes, Kobe.
Yes, I think we've heard a lot of factors that is really contributing to people not going to the stadium. And I think it look as if the media was left out of the discussion. I think they are the major factor here. Yeah, because, when supporters listen to what they say, mostly when you begin to criticize the referees a lot, when we are listening to commentary and we are not at the stadium, what you say will make people feel like, oh, what am I even going to do? After all, we've heard the match has already been sold, or the referees are favoring this and favoring that. For that matter, why do I even waste my time, go and pay and go and sit there and then watch? At the end of the day, it looks as if the point has already been decided. And you have a lot of these three, stations continuously criticizing referees left and right and center. Putting that one aside, even when we are watching these European matches, even now that they are using technologies, we are still even criticizing because they are even making mistakes. They even that they have access to look for a review and this VIA or all those things, they are still making mistakes. But we made our own look like they are devils. And so for that matter, you don't even get, any interest in going there. Then again, the stadium, we know there are a lot of issues at our stadium. The way they will talk about it, it's not safe to do this, it's not safe to do that. Yeah. And for that matter, even when you want to go with your case, you can. I have my kid always wonder, why are we not going to stadium these days? Why are we not going to stadium? I don't even know what to tell him. Like you were saying, I don't even know the number of players. They have to put players, my own team. I don't even know them because we don't even have time to watch it even on TV. The matches that they are even playing, look, it's GTV, whether we like it or not.
Okay.
Let us telecast the matches on GTV, at least one or two, and let us also know them. And we will have time. Those times we sit back and watch Hearts and Koroko or other teams, and we will feel like, no, I need to go and see this player at the stadium. Now we don't even watch it. We don't even know when the matches are being played on Wednesdays. And so the media, you have a lot to do to bring us back to the stadium because you have taken us out from the stadium.
All right. Thank you very much. Kobe in Teshi, 0302216541. Let's go to Dan Suman, where Felix is. Felix, good morning.
Good morning. My name is Felix Omak.
Yes, please go ahead and share your thoughts with us.
I think that for somebody like me who covered the Ghana League extensively, the issue with attendance at our games are basically in Accra and Kumasi. And when games are moved to Cape Coast, so if you do, the teams that have qualified to play in the Premier League or are community-based, they don't really have issues with attendance. And I can mention of the Dance Park in Bibiani, I can talk of Nana Jinabo in Bichim, and even RTU in Tamale, they come out to watch their games. But I think for the games in Accra and Kumasi, we need to really watch the kickoff time because we live in an era where we are competing with European leagues. I have been to Kumasi to watch a Kotoko game, and on the same afternoon, the same kickoff time, Liverpool and Manchester were playing one of the biggest league games. And trust me, a lot of the fans will pick that European fixture over that Premier League fixture. So why don't we shift some of the games, especially the midweek games, to evening games? Because if I sit in Accra and you ask me to leave my office around 3 p.m. on a Wednesday to go and watch a game in Accra, it will be difficult. So then you ask yourself, why can't we shift the kickoff time? Currently, games are not being played in the evening in Accra because the floodlights are not working. And that you can't blame Accra or maybe the FA. There are a lot of responsibilities that the FA and the clubs needs to take. How well are clubs managing or promoting their own league games? What is the FA doing in terms of marketing the league? There's a marketing department at the FA. Best Power, as sponsors of the league, decide that they are going to keep $1 million of the sponsorship money to promote the league. Do we have a single billboard that shows that we are playing the league in this country? You can walk around and see a lot of DCB exhibiting their European leagues on billboard. So I don't think that we can just only blame the FA. The clubs need to take huge responsibility. And then the National Sports Authority as well. Yesterday, Hearts of Oak played Kinfesa at the Baba Sports Stadium, and it was a nice game. A lot of people came to the stadium. I think that aside the Kotoko Kinfesa game, this was the highest amount of spectators that Kinfesa have gotten in their home game. It was because the games were shipped in there to the evening. So maybe we need to look at kickoff times. We need to look at some of the fixtures in Europe, the top fixtures in Europe, so that we don't put our games around that time. But for the games that are played outside Accra, If you put the game 10 a.m. in between, they'll go and watch. If you do same summertime, they'll go and watch. So I think that the major problem is the games that are being played in Kumasi and in Accra.
Thank you very much, Felix. Let's pick our final caller, Yao in Kaneshie. Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, Yao.
Thank you for the opportunity. Sometimes I wonder when Ghana will be able to solve her problems. We have problems everywhere, including sports. But let me just mention two things. One person alluded to the role of the media, which I think is very, very important. When he spoke to the former Chapter O guy, he spoke about the fact that when it's sports time, most of the discussions that goes are very negative, that discourage people even from trying to get to the stadium. Then the issue of whether we understand the industry in which we are. England, the kind of money they are making out of football, the business. I think that to do with greed. The managers and the stakeholders of football in this country are all interested in their personal gains.
Okay.
They are not so much interested in building an industry that will fed, all the people who are connected to the business. So they are not interested in building the business aspect of it. So there's something out of it. EFA, the same thing. I want to suggest that we really want to. It's not just one or two issues. Let's get together the stakeholders. Let's think through and be committed in building an industry, a business that will on what we do on the pitch. Until that's done, we shall keep talking and complaining and we'll not get anywhere.
Thank you very much. Yeah, from Kaneshie was our final caller. The English have done it. They've made their league competitive, even to the extent that the Spanish La Liga, sometimes they check their timing.
They do. Even the Italians.
Even the El Clasico, you don't want it to coincide with this. With
the big English Premier League match.
Exactly. You won't get anybody watching.
Yeah.
So he's made a very, all of the callers made that all-important point. The South Africans did a super disky. They made us do everything. We want to go and watch the South African League. Their players are some of the worst players you find on the African continent.
That is true. And the attendance are also reducing. Yesterday I was listening to a South African radio sports show, and it was the biggest topic on paper. They are having major issues as well. But Felix mentioned something about the attendance being better at other venues, maybe in the Brong-Ahafo region, and that's one thing that we haven't paid attention to, tapping into where the real passion is, and the passion that the people of BA have for football is unrivaled anywhere else in this country. Not even Kumasi comes close, and yet they don't even have a single stadium to show. So,
but the clubs must also build their own stadiums now.
They could, and the Giant Stars have tried.
Yes,
they have a
they must build stadium.
We're building.
Look at this. Baba Kasim is a president of Tamale City. he just sent me this evidence. Tamale City versus Great Olympics in Tamale. They got 111 Ghana cedis. And the game against Kotoko, this is Kotoko in Tamale, the e-ticket they sold was 153 Ghana cedis. So imagine playing two big matches at home and your total revenue is 254 Ghana cedis.
No way.
As a football club, look at how much you spend on fuel, training, feeding the players, paying salaries, all of these things, and all the staff. And you only came up with less than 300 Ghana cedis. It can't be done. But Winston, I would just say two quick things on how...
less than 1 minute.
Yeah, on marketing, okay? I think the clubs need to look closer to the younger fans.
Okay.
Because we have TESCON and 10 members in secondary schools. Why can't the clubs do it? In tertiary institutions, even exercise books. Can you believe that? Exercise books in primary schools are now filled with Chelsea and Man United players. Why can't House of Folk and Kotoko take over that?
I went to a kids rep your jersey. No one child was repping a local Premier League jersey.
I saw one that had House of Folk and Kotoko in a hunter. Anyway,